And I am here with my friend Jonathan. He has been in the financial industry for about 20 years, and he has great advice on how to get started as a first-time home owner, home buyer, and he's just gonna give us some advice.
Cool. Well, it's nice to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me. And let's talk about that. My name is Jonathan Escobar. I've been, like you mentioned, in the industry for over 20 years. I've bought homes, sold homes, bought homes, sold homes, and I currently am a homeowner, so I know the importance of owning a house. So anything that I can do to help out your audience, that would be awesome.
Especially because it's a reoccurring bought home,
Yeah.
sold, bought.
Yeah.
Fun. How was that?
Even though I've done like several transactions in my lifetime, it's still a little stressful. Even though you know you got
Yeah.
approved, even though you know what's coming up, the inspection, the appraisal, the deposit, the escrow deposit, you still feel it because it's the
Yeah.
biggest investment that you'll ever make in your life. It's for 30 years,
Yeah.
and you always think that's going to be the house that you're never going to sell, and then you eventually sell it again, but it's still stressful.
I like that because then now that like you hear that he's done it so many times and it was still stressful every single time, it's okay to have those nerves because I have a lot of first time home buyers or like they've never bought in a home and they're like scared or stressed or nervous.
Yeah.
So you're always going to get those like feelings, but it's okay.
Yeah, because eventually you get the
beautiful-
house, and then you're super stoked, and
Yeah.
then you get to fix it, then you get to do anything you want. If you're renting, you can't do that to, the landlord's home. It's their house, not yours. If you're renting an apartment, God forbid you change the color inside, they're going to charge you. So
Yeah.
your home is your biggest investment, and the thing that you can do whatever you want with it, whenever you want with it.
It's good. All right, so let's get into it.
Sure.
So my first question I have that many of like my people, my friends, or that are looking to buy a home, ask how do they know when they're ready to buy their very first home?
So, been in the industry for a while, and I think a lot of people ask me that, believe it or not. It makes me feel like I'm an economist, and I'm not. Like, they'll say, hey, there's going to be a recession. When is it going to end? I have no clue. But I think to answer your question, like, when do you know you're ready? You're ready when you can afford it. There'll be people that are going to debunk that and say, no, do it this time. The truth of the matter is, and you know this, you don't know when rates are going to go down. You have no idea how much the house is going to appraise. You don't know if the house is going to go down 20, 30,000 by tomorrow. You have no clue. We just have to go with what we have today. But the very first step, in my opinion, is does it meet your spending plan? People call it budget. I call it a spending plan. Does it meet your spending plan? Can you afford a $4,000 mortgage today? If the answer is yes, because you can afford it, great job, good income, and you're not going to skip like a meal by buying this house, or you're not going to be able to put gas in your car because you can't, because you have to pay a house, that's the first step. So if today you're able to say, I can make a mortgage payment, then you're ready. I guess I would say rule of thumb, if you can quote unquote make a mortgage payment for 6 months without having a house. Let's say the house is $3,000 mortgage payment. If you can do that for 6 months like clockwork without using the money, two things. One, then you feel pretty comfortable saying I can withstand this for the next 30 years. Two, you're building up your savings. $18,000 in my example would give you some down payment. But if it meets your spending plan, I think you're ready. If it doesn't, then you got to talk with the family or your significant other and say, what can we do? What can we tweak so that we're able to fit it into the spending plan?
Yeah. So going into what can we do, tweak out, remove, what would be a tip for someone that's going to be, what would be a tip for people in the audience to start doing before they purchase a home?
I'm a big believer that you have to know where your money is going. So it's a scary thought to print 3 months statements, look at where everything's going. What's going into groceries, what's going into gasoline, what's going into entertainment, what's going into memberships. A lot of folks have memberships, the Hulus, the Apple TVs, the Netflix, you name it, gym memberships that they're not using. So what I would say is assess your spending. If you're able to say, you know what, we're spending too much money on one area, say entertainment, going out, eating out, then you kind of know where to save some money. I encourage you to look at how much money you spend on memberships. You'd be surprised that you are spending too much money on them and you're not even using them. So cancel them, and that's a little bit of savings. So you gotta know, I call it being on the financial scale. You kind of have to know what's coming in, what's going out. It's almost like at the gym.
Yeah.
You can't just say I'm gonna lose weight without knowing how much you weigh.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be, you just can't do that. You can't even set up a goal, right? So looking at 3-month statements, looking at where your money is going, then you can tweak a few things, and then you can say, okay, you know what, we can save some money here, we can save some money there, and then if that makes your mortgage payment fit into that spending plan, then you're good. If it doesn't, then at least you have a start.
Okay, so that's great information. I think everyone knowing that their finances and where their finances are going, I think that's awesome. Now, what would be their next step, like their final stage?
I'm a firm believer that to buy a home, you need 3 things. You need savings, down payment, closing cost, right? 2, you need credit. Unless you have a ton of money in the account, like $1 million, then you don't need to have credit. You just buy the house cash, right?
Yes.
3rd, you need income. So what I would recommend is visit your lender. If you have a family member who's a lender, a loan officer, obviously, contact a real estate agent like Andrea to kind of give you some of those recommendations. But what I would say is go to a lender, whether it could be your bank too. Sit down, have them look at your income, the savings and credit, and if everything is looking great, then you can buy a house.
Yeah.
If credit is not where it needs to be, but savings, you have the down payment, you have the income, at least 2 years worth of income continuously, they can verify that, then all you need is, credit, then you start working on repairing your credit. And I know people in the community can help with that as well.
Okay.
If it's a savings issue that you don't have enough for the down payment, credit is good, income is good, then you just know that you just got to keep saving until you get to your goal. Lastly, if it's income, some folks go from a W-2 employer, like, working, they get a paycheck every 2 weeks, to self-employment. Well, that may stop you from buying a house because you went from a, every 2 weeks paycheck to now your own boss. So those are the 3 things that I would say. If all of those 3 things are where they need to be, you can buy a home. But if not, at least you know where to start.
Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you so much for all that information. If someone needs help with their finances and they don't know how to budget, can they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, you can definitely reach out to me. Like I said, Jonathan Escobar, 909-559-1225. 909-559-1225. Reach out, give me a call. I can put you in contact with some of our community partners that we have mutually that can help you with, the dream of buying a home. And I hope, we can hear some success from what we just talked about.
Yes, some success stories. I like that. Good job. Awesome.